You've been told to declutter for years, but no one talks about the real reason it's so hard, especially as we get older. It's not just about stuff. It's about memories, identity, and loss. And the truth? Letting go can feel like letting go of a part of yourself. But here's the thing, holding on isn't always helping. In this video, I'll share 5 brutal truths about decluttering that no one wants to say out loud, but every older adult needs to hear. These aren't trendy tips from 20-something minimalists. These are real, honest truths tailored for you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, guilty, or stuck when trying to tidy up, this could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Stick around, because by the end of this, you won't just look at your clutter differently. You'll look at your life differently, too. If you've ever stood in a cluttered room and thought, "Where do I even begin?" You're not alone. That heavy, stuck feeling? It's not laziness. It's overwhelm. As we age, decluttering doesn't just mean sorting stuff. It means facing decades of memories, loss, identity, and change. Your body may tire faster. Your emotions may run deeper. And your decisions? They feel heavier than ever. But no one talks about that. Most advice out there is made for younger people with fewer attachments and more energy. But your story is different. You've lived, loved, collected, and held on for good reason. This video isn't here to tell you to throw everything out. It's here to tell you the truth. Decluttering is emotional work. And once you understand what's really behind the clutter, you can finally move forward with compassion, not pressure. In the next few minutes, I'm not just giving you tips. I'm giving you truths. The kind that most people avoid because they're uncomfortable, even painful. But these truths are exactly what you need if decluttering has ever left you feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or even ashamed. This isn't about folding clothes a certain way or buying fancy bins. This is about understanding why it's so hard to let go and how to finally make peace with it. Once you hear these 5 brutal truths, decluttering won't feel like a burden anymore. It'll feel like a release, like taking back control of your space, your time, and your energy. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. You deserve to live in a home that reflects who you are today, not just who you used to be. Let's dive in. Number 1. Sentimental items are the hardest, and that's okay. Let's start with the one no one wants to admit. Sentimental clutter is the hardest to deal with. And it's not because you're weak. It's because those items aren't just things. They're stitched with memories, emotions, and sometimes even parts of your identity. That worn flannel your late husband used to wear, it doesn't just take up space in a drawer. It holds laughter, Sunday mornings, and maybe even the sound of his voice. That box of your child's drawings from decades ago, it carries moments that feel too precious to ever let go. You are not alone if these items stop you in your tracks. And you're not doing it wrong if it takes you weeks or even years to decide what to keep. This is emotional work, not just physical organizing. The truth is, sentimental items force us to confront loss, change, and time, 3 things that get harder as we get older. No one prepares you for that. Most decluttering advice skips over it, but ignoring it doesn't make it easier. So here's what I want you to know. You don't have to throw everything away to make progress. The key is learning how to honor the memory without becoming buried in it. Start with just one item. Hold it. Ask yourself, what exactly am I holding on to? The object or the feeling it represents? Can I preserve the memory in a way that doesn't require me to keep the item itself? Sometimes, taking a photo of something, writing a short note about its meaning, or giving it to someone who will cherish it can help you let go without guilt. Other times, it means keeping just one thing instead of 20. It's not about discarding everything. It's about choosing what truly adds value to your life now. And here's the hard part, but also the liberating one. You don't need the object to keep the memory. The love, the stories, the legacy, they live in you, not in a box in the attic. The moment you give yourself permission to let go of what no longer serves you, without guilt, you open the door to peace, to clarity, to being able to look around your home and breathe a little easier. Coming up next, I'll show you a way to say goodbye to these items without regret, and even turn that goodbye into a beautiful act of remembrance. Stay with me. Number 2. Most advice isn't meant for seniors. Let's be honest, most of the decluttering advice out there isn't meant for you. Not really. It's made for busy 30-year-olds, trying to manage toddlers and Target hauls. or 20-something minimalists who live in tiny apartments with 3 pairs of shoes and a plant. You've seen the videos, color-coded closets, aesthetic pantry labels, 5 a.m. morning routines. But here's the truth. They're not dealing with what you're dealing with. They don't have 4 decades of keepsakes tucked into drawers and bins. They don't have photo albums, heirloom china, your parents' old furniture, or stacks of birthday cards from people who are no longer here. They're not navigating physical aches, decision fatigue, or the quiet grief that sometimes comes with letting go. And they definitely don't understand how a single object, like a letter or a recipe card in someone's handwriting, can carry the weight of a memory that still matters. This isn't to knock younger people trying to live with less, but their journey is different. And if you've ever watched those videos and felt like you were failing because you couldn't replicate what they do, let me tell you this, you are not failing. You are navigating something deeper. Let's talk about a few real challenges older adults face when it comes to decluttering. 1. You've had more time to accumulate things, and that's normal. Living in the same home for 20, 30, or 40 years means things naturally pile up. Every item has a story. Every drawer holds layers of life. You're not messy. You've just lived a full life. And that deserves respect, not shame. 2. Physical energy isn't what it used to be. Maybe you used to tackle a room in an afternoon. Now, bending, lifting, or standing too long leaves you sore and drained. That's not a lack of willpower, that's reality. You need systems that work with your body, not against it. That means shorter sessions, more breaks, and tools or helpers when needed. And guess what? That's perfectly okay. 3. Decision fatigue hits harder. You've had decades of life, loss, love, and transitions. That means every decision around what to keep or toss is layered with emotion. It's not just, do I use this? It's, what if I need it again? What if this belonged to someone I loved? What if I regret letting it go? These questions are heavy, and most decluttering hacks don't even scratch the surface. 4. Your time perspective is different. Minimalists talk about future value, but when you've reached a certain age, the conversation changes. It's not just about tidying up for convenience. It's about leaving less behind for your loved ones. It's about creating peace in your space so you can enjoy it now. That shift is emotional and powerful, and it deserves its own kind of support. So here's what I want you to hear loud and clear. You don't need to follow their rules. You need your own. Rules that make sense for your stage of life, your body, your home, and your memories. You don't need to declutter your entire house in a weekend. You don't need to throw out everything that doesn't spark joy. You don't need to perform a minimalist lifestyle. That doesn't reflect who you are. What you do need is this: a gentle process that honors your past and supports your present. A strategy that prioritizes comfort and ease over aesthetics. Permission to let go slowly, deliberately, and with grace. The truth is, decluttering as a senior is less about creating a Pinterest-worthy home and more about reclaiming peace of mind, clarity, and dignity in your space. It's about surrounding yourself with what matters most now. So, if you've ever felt like traditional advice doesn't fit your life, you're right. That's why this channel exists, for you. You deserve guidance that's honest, compassionate, and rooted in reality. Up next, we'll talk about another hard truth, one that explains why some days you just can't seem to start at all, and how to break through that barrier. Stay with me. Number 3, you're not lazy, you're overwhelmed. Let's set the record straight. You are not lazy. If you've looked at a cluttered shelf or overflowing drawer and thought, why can't I just deal with this? The answer isn't laziness. It's overwhelm. It's decision fatigue. It's the emotional weight of facing hundreds, even thousands, of little choices that each carry their own baggage. Let me tell you a quick story. I once stood in my kitchen holding an old coffee mug. Nothing special. No cracks. No deep sentimental value. Just a plain, worn mug. And I spent nearly an hour trying to decide if I should keep it. An hour. Why? Because that mug wasn't just a mug. It reminded me of quiet mornings, conversations at the kitchen table, the way my spouse used to laugh and pour the second cup. It wasn't about the mug. It was about everything wrapped around it. This is what most people don't understand. Clutter isn't about stuff. It's about stories. And when your home holds decades of stories, each decision feels heavier than it looks. Now multiply that mug by 200. That's what clutter becomes. Not a pile of junk, but a wall of emotional choices. No wonder you feel exhausted just thinking about it. You're not unmotivated. You're mentally and emotionally tired from constantly asking, should I keep this? What if I need it someday? What if I regret letting it go? What will my kids think if I toss this? What if it meant something to someone else? It's no wonder people avoid decluttering for years. Not because they're lazy, but because their hearts are carrying too much. The good news? There's a better way. You don't have to tackle everything at once. You don't have to make every decision today. The key is to stop treating clutter like a giant, one-time job, and start treating it like a series of tiny, manageable choices. Here's what works. Start small, really small. One drawer, one shelf, one category. If you're sorting through keepsakes, don't try to do the whole box. Just pick 5 items. That's it. Use a timer. Set it for 10 or 15 minutes. Not an hour, not an afternoon. Just a short window of focused energy. Create simple rules. Like, if I didn't know this was here, do I really need it? Or would I buy this again today? Keep a not sure box. You don't have to decide everything in the moment. Put the item in a box, date it, and revisit it in 3 or 6 months. Often, you'll realize you never missed it. Say this out loud when you're stuck. This is not about perfection. It's about progress. You are allowed to go slowly. You are allowed to take breaks. You are allowed to feel emotional. Because decluttering is not just a physical task. It's a form of emotional processing. Every item is a reminder of something. Who you were, who you've loved, what you've lost, and what you hope to carry into the future. So, the next time someone suggests you're just procrastinating, remember this: you're carrying more than they can see. The fact that you're even thinking about decluttering is a sign of strength, not weakness. If you're still with me, you're already further along than you think. Coming up next, we'll talk about the moment that catches most people off guard, the messy middle. When decluttering feels like it's making things worse. But there's a reason for it, and you'll want to hear this. Number 4, you'll feel worse before you feel better. There's a moment in every decluttering journey that feels like failure. The drawers are open, the floor is covered, and suddenly your calm little mess has turned into a big one. You pause, look around, and think, what have I done? That moment, it's not a sign that something's gone wrong. It's a sign that something's finally working. Here's the truth no one talks about. Decluttering often feels worse before it feels better. That messy middle, that uncomfortable in-between space, is completely normal. In fact, it's necessary. Think of it like cleaning out a closet. You start pulling things out, tossing them into piles. Clothes, boxes, memories. All of it suddenly exposed and everywhere. You're standing in the middle of it, feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, even defeated. And your brain starts whispering, maybe I should just put it all back. But here's what you need to hear in that exact moment. Don't stop. Don't go back. That discomfort you feel, that's growth. You're not doing it wrong. You're actually doing it right. Why you feel worse in the middle? Decluttering stirs up emotions. Each item you touch forces you to decide, do I still need this? Does this still fit my life? What am I ready to release? That's deep work, emotionally and mentally. And it can feel messy because it is messy. You're making choices that challenge your habits, your memories, and sometimes even your identity. That takes courage. But just like any kind of growth, physical therapy, grief healing, starting over, it gets hardest right before it gets better. That's the breakthrough point. What to do when you hit the wall. When you're in the middle and feel like quitting, try these 3 steps. 1. Pause, but don't stop. Take a breath. Step away for a moment. Get a glass of water. Stretch your legs. But make a plan to come back. The mess isn't the end. It's just the middle. 2. Focus on one win. Instead of looking at everything left to do, pick one corner, one box, or one drawer and finish it. Give yourself a before and after moment you can see and feel. That quick win will reset your energy. 3. Remind yourself of why you started. Are you doing this so your kids won't be overwhelmed later? So you can enjoy your home with more peace? So you can move, downsize, or just feel better? Bring that reason back into your focus. It's your anchor. You're not just decluttering, you're reclaiming control. That uncomfortable middle phase, it's where transformation happens. It's where you face the mess head on and start turning it into something meaningful, something lighter, something freer. The best part? Once you push through the messy middle, everything starts to shift. The room clears. Your mind clears. The weight lifts. You finally see progress. And more importantly, you feel proud. Not because it's perfect, but because you did it anyway. So the next time you're standing in the middle of the mess and wondering why you ever started, tell yourself this: I'm not in chaos. I'm in transition. You're not stuck. You're on your way somewhere better. Coming up next, the final truth. And it may be the hardest one to hear, but also the most freeing. Because sometimes it's not about the stuff at all. It's about what the stuff is protecting you from. Let's talk about it. Number 5. Holding on won't make time stand still. This is the hardest truth to face. And yet, it's the one that unlocks the most freedom. Keeping everything from the past won't bring it back. We hold on because we want to remember. We hold on because we're afraid of forgetting. We hold on because letting go can feel like losing something all over again. But here's the reality. Time moves, whether we're ready or not. And no amount of stuff, no matter how deeply meaningful, can pause the clock or protect us from change. That coat still hanging in the closet doesn't bring a person back. That untouched room doesn't stop life from moving forward. And that box of old letters, while precious, can quietly become a weight instead of a gift if we're not careful. Letting go isn't erasing the past. It's making space for the present. It's saying, that mattered, and I still matter now. The emotional weight of memory. Maybe you've kept your child's toys, even though they're grown with kids of their own. Maybe your pantry still holds ingredients you haven't used in years, but were once part of every family dinner. Maybe you still have your partner's shoes by the door, even though they haven't been worn in a long time. These things meant something. They were pieces of people, moments, and chapters you never want to lose. So it feels wrong, almost cruel, to part with them. But holding on out of fear or guilt doesn't preserve love. It preserves pause. And too much pause can turn into paralysis. Love doesn't live in objects. It lives in your heart, in your stories, in the way you keep moving forward while carrying the past with grace. A new kind of keeping. What if we shifted our thinking? What if letting go isn't about forgetting, but about choosing? You get to choose what you keep and why. You get to decide which pieces carry the story, and which ones you can release with gratitude. Here's how you do that. 1. Keep the essence, not the excess. 1 photo album instead of 10. 1 sweater instead of a closet. Choose the few things that truly speak for the whole memory. 2. Preserve, don't pile. Create a small memory box. Scan photos and letters. Record your voice telling a story connected to a cherished object. Let the memory live without letting the clutter grow. 3. Let items go with intention. Give heirlooms to family now, while you're here to share their stories. Donate items that can be used by someone else. Pass on meaning, not just things. Space is a gift you give yourself. The more you release, the more you begin to feel it. Lightness, clarity, peace. You're no longer keeping things out of fear. You're curating a life that supports who you are today, and in that space you create, that's where now lives. That's where new memories, quiet mornings, and deep breaths can finally return. That's where you stop surviving the weight of the past and start living in the richness of the present. So if you've been holding on, waiting for the right time to let go, maybe that time is now. Not because you're ready to forget, but because you're ready to live. Coming up next, we'll reveal the powerful emotional payoff that comes with decluttering and why it's about so much more than just tidying up. You've done the hard part. Let's look at what you gain when you finally let go. I learned these truths the hard way. After my mom passed, I couldn't bring myself to part with a single thing. Her scarves, her notes, even old kitchen tools she hadn't used in years. I kept it all, thinking it somehow kept her close. 1 drawer sat untouched for 6 years. Every time I opened it, I shut it again, heart too heavy to face what was inside. But the day I finally let go, piece by piece, with tears and deep breaths, I didn't just make space in that drawer. I made space inside me. I could breathe again, not because I forgot her, but because I honored her and finally gave myself permission to move forward. Decluttering isn't just about creating more space. It's about creating more freedom. Freedom to move, to breathe, to live without being weighed down by things that no longer serve you. It's not always easy. In fact, it can be one of the hardest emotional journeys you'll ever take. But it's worth it, because every item you release is a step toward clarity, peace, and control over your environment and your life. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to open your closet and smile instead of sigh? To reach for a drawer and know exactly what's in it? To walk into a room that doesn't whisper unfinished, but instead says, "You're home," that feeling isn't out of reach. It's just on the other side of a few brave choices. And you don't have to do it all at once. You just have to start. What's the one item you've struggled to let go of? Maybe it's a jacket that still smells like someone you loved. A drawer full of cards you haven't read in years, but can't throw away. Or maybe it's something small, like a kitchen gadget or an old photo that holds more emotion than it seems to deserve. Whatever it is, I want to hear about it. Share it in the comments. I read every single one. Because chances are, someone else out there is holding on to something similar. And your story might help them feel a little less alone. And if even one of these 5 truths spoke to you, if it made you feel seen, understood, or just a little bit lighter, give this video a thumbs up. It helps more than you know. And hit subscribe for more advice made just for you. Real, honest, and compassionate guidance for the season of life you're in right now. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're just one small step away from breathing easier. And you don't have to take that step alone.